Hey, AP Scholars, we're back. We're ready to take a look at Gradebot. This is probably the most difficult of the questions in this week's, or this assignment. We get 2 a week, so this current assignment, we have ourselves your typical things that we need to make sure this program runs that aren't going to be tested yet. Your your scanner, your class, your main method, and then we kind of begin working with stuff. So I got myself some variables. Obviously the scanner is just something that we've been having every time. I also have my various variables. Here's what the test is out of. This is the score. This is the score, and this is the percent. I made these things doubles, by the way, because that'll allow me to correctly calculate the values. If you make them ints and you do division, remember what happens when you have 2 ints in a division expression in Java? It will separate the quotient and the remainder. So you might not actually get what you were expecting. So by making these doubles, I avoid that problem. If, for example, you're getting a lot of, I got 0% kind of errors, then chances are this is the problem and this is how to solve it. So once I've declared my variables, I go straight into my input and my output. I go my input, just using next double to read in a double and store it in the correct variables. So what is your test out of, what mark did you get, and then I go into some if-else. Pardon me. Oh, jeez. As usual, I'm doing these videos at night and I'm getting tired. But here is the story. I got a couple of if statements here. We're getting a little bit fancy here with our if-else type of thing. So basically, I check to see, was this score that I gave nonsense? Was this a bad score? So here's a couple things I check to say, hey, is the score greater than what the test was out of? Theoretically, that's not a big deal. You could get bonus marks on a test, but the assignment didn't say that you could get that, so I'm going to include it. Or hey, was the score 0? Actually, I think the score could be 0. It's the out of that's the problem. So I should probably change that to out of, hey? Yeah, you don't want the score to be, I guess you could get 0 out of test, that's totally fine. But out of, you don't want that one to be 0. And then score shouldn't be less than 0. And actually, out of shouldn't be less than 0 either. So let's put that in there too. So, or out of is less than 0. Oh, actually, here's a good example where, maybe instead of that, I could just say over here, less than or equal to 0. Yeah, ooh, that's nice. So that way, if it's 0, it'll be taken care of. If it's less than 0, if it's negative, it'll be taken care of. So there you go. This is the way to do this. So these any of these are true, or any multiple of these are true, then it will say, hey, that's impossible. Stop joking around. And then if none of these are true, because it's an or relationship, they'd all have to be false in order for it to go to the else, then we'll start doing the rest of the assignment. So this is actually a pattern that you're going to see, I think, throughout the course, where you can sort of deal with the weird edge cases. Oh dear, I'm just so boring. I'm yawning. So you can deal with the edge cases and then move on, and then the rest of your program can be simpler because you can assume the edge cases are taken care of. So here I start doing my stuff where I'm doing my division, I multiply by 100, and then, let's see, I guess I print out, whether you got an A, a B, a C. Oh, and I guess I did miss something here, didn't I? I should print out the percent. I don't think I do that, so I'm going to put that in here. So I'm going to calculate the percent, and then I'm going to print it out. So I'll say system.out.println you got, and then percent, and then, a percent sign or something. It's still not perfect because percent is a double, and I believe that the assignment says I should print it out as an int. So what can you do with that? Well, there's a couple of things. You could do some sort of int casting operator. You can make another variable or something if you wanted to. You can just stick in the you just stick in this right here, and it will just temporarily cast it to an int before it prints it out. So that would be a fine thing to do. Let's just compile that and run it just to make sure it's working okay, because I made a few changes and I don't want to lie to you about whether it's correct or not. Okay, so what was your test out of? It was out of 100. What did you get? 91. Haha. And you got 91%. Oh, good, it's an int. That's an A. Great work. Love it. Yes. So I'll compile that again, and I'll run it again just to make sure it's working. And this is something that you should probably try to do. What did you just out of? 0. You know, what did you get? 0. Oh, silly human. Quit joking around. So this is a good idea to double check all the different edge cases as well. Okay, looks like it's working. So I hope that made sense, folks. And you know, there's actually many ways to solve this question. So I really like this setup. It's a good pattern where you like deal with your edge cases, and then afterwards, you know, your life is easier. You can just go ahead and solve the question, you know, as if everything is smooth. Hey, one last thing to mention, actually. Notice that my if statements, they are not measuring a range. I'm not saying if it's between 186 and then between 86 and 73. I'm just checking, you know, is it greater than or equal to 86? If it is, it's an A. And this one only has to check to see if it's greater than 73. Why am I not checking if it's between 86 and 73? Well, the answer is because I put it into an if-else-if chain. So that means if I get to this if statement, I can assume that this one failed, which means that whatever my grade is, it can't be 86 or up, because I'm looking at this one. So I only have to now check to see if it's 73 and up, because I know it's not 86 and up. And same if I get to this one here, I can assume that all the rest of them failed. So I don't have to check if it's between 67 and 60, and just see if it's greater than 60. Notice that you would have to do it in a logical order. If you started at 50 and sort of did the other way around, then it wouldn't work so well. So you can arrange your if statements in a way that kind of takes advantage of the ordering of numbers and the sort of, you know, the way the if else works, where, you know, if it gets to this, you know, I guess basically that it only can execute one of these statements in this chain. So if it gets to any particular one, you can assume all the previous ones failed. And you could leverage that to make your code a little bit simpler. So there you go. That's one way to do that question. I think it's probably about as smooth as it gets. So thanks so much for watching. And we will see you in the next video where we talk about the magic 8-ball. We'll do some goofy magic 8-ball questions. Okay, bye.